Hello, 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 and welcome to another edition of the review with Heather's Passion Academy. I am Heather of Heather's Passion Academy, and today we are reviewing Family Empire, Houston. And this is season one, and this is episode three. And as you all know, this is a new show on OWN. So if you have not checked it out as of yet, I think you should. Um, it is a show that follows the Braden family and all of the ups and downs that come along with being a family and but also being a family in business. So, if you have not checked it out as of yet, I think this is a good time for you to check it out. So, this is episode 3 and it's called Lakeisha's Secret, which I think that they should have named it something else because I don't yeah, I just think they be struggling. This is another Carlos King um, production, and I just feel like they be struggling with the names of episodes. I think this should have been called something else, like you know, not Lakeisha's Secret. I think it should have been something like Family Meeting or something like that. I think that would have been a better one. But who am I? I just be watching TV. Maybe they know something I don't. I'm sure they do because I don't work in that industry. I would if y'all let me. So this episode opens up with Jermeshia and Nikki meeting with developers, Aisha and Kevin. So they are a couple. Aisha is also an agent at Braden, but she with her husband are developers. They develop land or whatever. So they're trying to keep those dollars. They're trying to circulate the dollars within the same community. So it's really great. The other ladies are unavailable, but they continue to meet um, with them, Nikki and um, Jermesha are continuing to meet with them. And so what she wanted to know was what was, the vision. She told them what her vision was, what she wants to do as far as legacy is concerned. You'll find out uh only in we're only 3 episodes in, and legacy is a word that they're going to continue to use, and I'm okay with it, but we just know we're going to be saying that word a lot. Anyway, so she wants to make sure that they can get on the same page as far as what her vision is for this 2-acre lot and what they can do with it. So basically they said they're going to run the numbers, but just off the top they were looking at the land. They said you could probably get 25 to 30 homes on the land. Those lots, each home would be like a 15 to 1800 square foot. So mid-sized starter homes kind of in around 300 to 350K. Then they were talking about it could be like a dog park you could add if you make the lots a little bit smaller, different things to keep people in the community. And I think what they really want to do is maybe not sell the homes, but make those renter homes. Like just basically these a bunch of homes that people are renting. And for their legacy, it'd be great because he was like, if you sell it, that's just one time. But if you rent it, and it was like, okay, well, that makes sense. And so one of the things that they were talking about was, building that legacy and doing it with that land. What she was complaining about was that she feels like Granny only cares mostly about taking care of the G1s, which are her children, and paying their bills off, and she only want to sell the land. So Aisha was like, well, girl, why don't you just let her do it? Jermesha didn't like that. Nikki says, well, um that's not true. She ain't always paying our bills and houses off and everything. That's not true. She said, well, she did it before. And she's like, well, that she did it that time and everybody got a blessing. But didn't your mama not share with you? And Jamisha was like, yeah, mom always shares. She's always generous. So we're gonna see what, um what they're gonna do as far as that's concerned. And there's a sentiment that, Jamisha feels like Granny don't really worry about her grandkids as much as she worries about her own kids. And I mean, I guess it's fair, but I guess what she look at it like most grandparents are building for their grandkids once they kids get grown or whatever. But I don't know. Sometimes parents just only really want to be bothered with their own kids. Anyway, the couple said they'll get this presentation together so that Oscarine can, look at some numbers and make decisions. Nikki said she was on board from the beginning. The whole problem has always been trying to get them sisters on board. Those other three sisters, Charlotte, Cheryl, and Jackie, are gonna be what the problem is. So we're gonna see how that works out for them. Hopefully it will. I don't know. It's probably not. So we got Nicole and her mom, Joy, going out to eat, having a little mommy daughter time. And so Nicole kind of goes into the conversation about, she's talked to her daughter about her wanting a sibling, or would she be interested in having a sibling, basically. So she is just sharing a little bit about how badly she and her husband wanted another child, but it's just not really in the cards for them to just be able to do it. And she shared with her mom that it was really difficult for them to get pregnant, even with the first child. And right as they were about to make the decision to consider IVF, was when they were finally able to get pregnant. So adoption looks like the way they were going. Her mom was like, she never knew. She was like, I never heard, you never shared that with me. And so her mom was, kind of shocked. And then, but also at the same time, she was saying, um, you know, there y'all busy. You talking about another child. I can understand also why Nicole probably didn't share this with anyone, because first of all, she seems to be one of those people that always want to make things look perfect. The other thing is that there's so much shame wrapped around infertility and just fertility period. And people expect a lot from women. They expect that you can do everything and everything well without help. And a lot of that stuff is just shameful when you can't do what you feel like should be the thing everyone is able to do. So I can see that. Her mom looks surprised again, asking about, "Are you sure is this what you want to do?" Um, and you got to consider what bringing another child into the family means. And Nicole was talking about the big family, the small family, just the dynamics of all that. And yes, that's something that she does have to consider. And she grew up with her sister Monet, and that bond that sisters has is nothing like the cousins. And she really wants that for her child. And I wonder though, her child's an only child, and I wondered, is she okay with being an only child? And she said her child is bored and lonely. Um, I don't know. Maybe of course, I would want them to do whatever works for them. However, um, I wouldn't want her to just have a child just because she thinks her child is lonely. I don't know. I I'm just saying out, this is me giving advice like I know these people and like I'm their sisters and stuff like that. But if it works for you, if that's your heart desire is to have another child, please, by all means. Anyway, the conversation moves to her and Keshia and their relationship. Um, and they're meeting to hash things out. So she tells her mom the conversation went well since they were able to talk without the outside noise, and that this opened up a more clear line of communication for them. And her mom was said a lot of this started, all this stuff between the two of y'all started before y'all was born, and she was like, well, I really don't care what happened. And she was like, okay. And I'm like, Nicole, this may actually help you with the understanding of what's happening with y'all's relationship, because y'all are just listening to what other people are saying. Y'all not hearing the whole story. So you may need the insight of everything that happened to, just to say, well, I don't really care what happened and all that stuff. I think you may need to hear all the story, because, she mentioned that both of them are the same age, which means that her mom and Keisha's mom were pregnant around the same time. They kind of make y'all ghetto twins. And I don't know how far apart y'all are, but you are the same age. So that tells me there's a lot more to this story than we're willing to talk about. Um, so yeah, and so there's a story there, but her choosing to not talk about it and ignore it could actually negatively impact her relationship with Keisha, because they're just getting what some everybody else said to them and not really getting all the information. Anyway, so over here at brunch with the broker, they got their broker suits on. That's some serious business women suits, child. One thing about Nicole is she gonna drape something over her shoulder. Anyway, Jermesha says this is her first event since the birth of her son Jackson, because she had postpartum depression like really bad, and she's just glad to get back. And I mean, I understand that it took me, my youngest is 2, and it's taken me a little bit of time to come out of that to be able to start doing reviews and everything again. And I'm actually having to start my business back up because I just had to take some time away after she was born. I just had to take care of me. I can't take care of nobody else till I take care of me. But I'm getting better, y'all, and I'm back. So she and Nicole talk to Nikki and Aisha, who actually walked in, about the presenting Granny with the plans for the 2 acres of land. And Nicole is telling Jermesha, you got to really make sure you get all the information, but it's going to be only up to her to make that decision. And Jermesha, like, we already know that she is Oscarine Jr. and she don't want nothing. She don't want to rock no boats and stuff like that. So we don't know. We don't know what's going on with that. Keshia and Karamell walk in, and so everybody just kind of, disperses about that situation. And at that point, everybody's glad to see them and everything. Jermesha introduces them to the group, and said that Keisha has expressed an interest in real estate. So they don't want to leave her out of anything. So this is her first step toward getting her feet wet into like the real estate business and like just really being around them when it comes to the business. Caramel is an agent and she's interested in perhaps coming into Braden. But Nicole said, as long as she ain't malicious to my sister, she well, those sisters just not playing, and I'm fine with that. I think that that's okay that they are protecting their sister. I think sometimes people think you can be overprotective of your family, but I think sometimes you need that. So that's what it be. Jermesha starts the brunch and she's talking stacks. Like there are only 6% of black realtors or black agents may earn up to 3 times less than their counterparts. And I really like that, she's talking to these people. These folks here are, the top of the top of their brokerage. So they're giving kudos to them on that. Nicole gets up and she gets to talking about the luxury brand and everything. Now I thought this was Jermesha's brunch, but it seemed like Nicole has a little bit of takeover spirit. She got to be involved in something. Um, and so I know Nikki said, "Well, that's just Nicole for you," but somebody gonna have to hold her hand and tell her sit down. I feel like she's one of those people that she has to have everything her way, or it ain't gonna be right, and she gonna run herself crazy doing that. Anyway, so Jamisha's very emotional when it comes to talking about family legacy and businesses and everything because she really wants the best for everyone's family. She really wants to build for everyone's legacy and everybody's family. And I can really appreciate that. And I like that about her because she's very passionate. As they sit down to go ahead and finally eat, the Bradens talk about Chris and his contract. And they're like, y'all still talking about Chris? And they like, look, we don't want to talk about Chris no more. But I guess at first they were working on the honor system when it came to Chris getting paid or whatever. I don't know what's going on with that situation. They're saying he's not doing what he's supposed to do and he expecting to get paid. I think there's a little bit of micromanagement happening here. They're used to people wanting to be around them and in their face and their family. And then sometimes when you have people like that and then you have certain family members that work better by themselves or they just don't want to be part of the clique all the time. I think they do have a problem with that. And, large families tend to do that, especially when they're close. They take offense to you not wanting to be around them all the time. So the conversation starts moving over to Caramel and Keisha. Nicole asks how long they've been dating. And Caramel says that they've been dating for about 2 years, honey. 2 whole years. And Nicole said, now that's a problem because we don't even really know you like that. Jermesha says, Caramel is more like Keisha's accessory. And I'm like, y'all. Anyway, she feels like they complement each other, but that's the most she knows about Caramel. But she said, truthfully, to be honest, she actually hadn't tried to get to know her either. Caramel says she wants to be respectful, I guess, of the spaces in the family. And Nikki was like, girl, I'll be forgetting that you there. Now, they could be more tactful. I'm gonna just be honest. They said they are intrusive family and all this type of stuff. They got this girl looking crazy right here. They could be a little bit more tactful how they say things, but I don't think they be thinking about that because they're so used to being in. But let me know because Nicole is sensitive, ain't she? Hmm. So they could be more tactful. They said the family is intrusive, but Keisha jumps in and said, "Well, it's not really her fault. It was just how everybody met her." And that was around when Keisha's mom died, and they felt like the way that Caramel was treating her was wrong during that time because her mom just died. So they talk about how it looked when Keisha's mom died, and her ex girlfriend called, and they were saying, she was grilling her on why the ex is calling in this situation. You know, is what a lot of family members just remembers of her. So that's why they just kind of like they can take or leave her. Caramel and Keisha both said they didn't realize that was what was happening. Jermeshia said, we ride hard for our family. So of course most of them are still feeling the way toward her because of that. And now I don't know what happened in their relationship, but here's the thing. I don't really care when it comes to, exes and stuff calling, but I think there's a time and place to handle a situation with arguing with your significant other on who's calling your phone. Like you cannot control who calls your phone. Sure, you might have you maybe she blocked her, or maybe she decided to that ex use a different number or whatever. I don't know what the point is, but the point is, I mean, I don't know what the situation was, but the point is, not even hearing any more about this situation, and we'll hear more, about it. The problem is, why do you think this is the time to do whatever it was that you're doing? If they saying that you arguing back and forth, and that left a bad taste, then that's something you need to consider maybe not doing the next time. Well, hopefully there's not a next time, but you know, I have a thing about folks getting mad because somebody phone ring or somebody say something to them on social media. That's so weird to me. Anyway, at Jaquita's house, Chris and um the kiddo are at the house making dinner. Oh, here we go. That's the wrong thing. Right there. So Chris and the kiddo are making dinner while Jaquita is away for her trip. Now, here's the thing. I know they're gonna do the best they can. They're making their little spaghetti, but I know you didn't have that little boy breaking up the spaghetti. Okay. So while they're getting dinner together, they done called Jaquita just to see how she doing. Chris is like, the baby is a mama's boy or whatever. And he was like, one day, he might be a daddy's boy, but he is definitely a mama's boy. I think that he probably be okay. Anyway, um, they talked about her having her shots and her going on her child. She is partying. Do you hear me? She ain't got time for you or the child. She is out there doing what she doing. They done sample shots. They done drank. They done drank. They done drank. They done woke up, drank, sit down, drank. Yes, all the drinks. She on vacation. Chris says he still hasn't gotten a contract from Jermeshia and Nicole as of yet. He wants to know what's all in this contract, and because he got to decide whether he gonna stay or not. Now the thing with Jaquita, she like, look, we can't just be impulsively quitting no jobs because we got bills. Uh, I feel like she sometimes has to just continue to reel him in quite a bit because she said he tends to make decisions off of emotions. And her thing is them bills got to get paid. His thing is, well, we could have $1 million in the bank and she was still worried about bills. But that impulsive stuff will keep your partner on edge. And I feel like she probably still paying them student loans off from becoming a pharmacist. So she want to watch the budget a little bit. So I can understand that. So over at Jermeshia's house, she's with hubby and little Jackson, and they're talking about the day, and how he's, you know, balancing working, music, being an agent. They're prepping for his show with his band. They're a busy couple. They have 3 children. She's a broker, and he's doing what he does. They have a lot going on, and her goal is not to be working so much. She's in her 40s, so she's like, I ain't trying to be working forever. So I want to enjoy that time and travel with my family. And yeah, it's just a lot of fun. She's very much a driven person and everything. I just want to show y'all this. The baby was like, "Mama, I ain't got time for you to do this scene no more. I need some things, some booby." Little kids that age are funny to me. So the next scene we have Lakeshia and Karamell out house hunting. And their lease is up soon. So now they're looking to buy. So now's the time. They're working to blend in their family, so this house should be enough space for them. I'm just gonna look around this house real quick as they walk in. They're talking about the kids being in the same neighborhood. Well, it's in the same neighborhood as some of their family. Also, this house is best for them because it's in the same school district, so the kids wouldn't have to leave the district. Um, I know that, they were talking about how fancy it is. But the one thing I was peeping is that, she was like, "Oh, you gonna be are you my uh realtor and my girlfriend?" She said, "And your soon to be wife." And she said, "Ah, I got you. I got you." And I was like, that's interesting. Anyway, this is a 5 bedroom, 4.5 bath house. Like, I'm so glad that we're seeing a show where they're actually showing houses like for sale and stuff. It makes me happy because not only are we talking about family stuff, but their business is houses, like selling houses. So we're actually seeing stuff get sold and people closing on properties and stuff. I'm excited. 5 bedroom, 4.5 bath, 4149 square feet, listed at $400,000. That is a deal. Okay. I just want everybody to know that. Anyway, the house is nice and they end up in the backyard and they have a chat by the pool. So they want to Keisha's, Caramell's asking her how she liked the house and everything. She says she wants to build equity because she know like basically like the pool maintenance and some other things will be costly. And I'm like, Keisha, this house is a good right now in this market, 400,000. Now I don't know nothing about property taxes in Texas, but 400,000, that's very nice. That's very good. So she asked Caramel how comfortable she is with making a purchase like this one, even though they aren't married. She said she a little shaky about that. The question is how your family gonna be dealing with me. She was like, they're gonna be cool. And she was like, well, we non-traditional and all this type of stuff. And but I'm like, well, it looked like they accept all of, the non-traditional party of marriage, being that, y'all are same-sex relationship. I don't think that's the problem. I just think that presentation is a problem. Um, Keisha said, but let me just say this again. Keisha says, I got you a lot instead of answering questions. So I wonder if that's her way of deflecting. And then also, I wonder if Caramel is the one that's more interested in getting married sooner than later. Because Keisha said it's headed that way, but I don't feel like she is as motivated as Caramel to get married. That's just my observation. I could be wrong. Um, she already going back to her. She says you know, the traditional thing ain't just what she was doing. She said when she was younger, she had was sneaking a little boy in her um apartment in her window and everything, and that ended up being her son. She ended up having her son because of that. But even at a young age she knew that she liked boys and girls, and she didn't think a conversation was needed with the family about her sexuality. So that's great that they don't really need that conversation. Some folks feel like they have to have confirmation, and I'm just like, let people live their life. That's what I believe. So they talk about the brunch and how they felt about the conversation there. Um, Now Caramel said it was supposed to be a professional setting, and she asked Keisha, she tells her, "You didn't really fully explain what happened in the beginning of this relationship. It's making me look like the bad guy." And Keisha was like, "Okay, I apologize for that." She said at the beginning of her relationship, she wanted to remain friends with the ex, and there was a boundary for Caramel, and she didn't respect the boundary. So I don't know. I guess she just continued to talk to the I don't yeah, okay. Um, but still, y'all shouldn't have been talking about that when the girl mama just died. Don't matter. So she said, that was the reason why she left because the ex called and all that stuff. And I'm like, that's a let's table this to tomorrow conversation. She said they said they're gonna try to fix it though. That's what they gonna do. Well, y'all have fun with that. So over at Nicole's house, she's having Granny over to show her how to make cabbage. Granny she can throw down apparently, and she loves making memories with her, and she hopes her daughter can help make memories with her as well. So while they're cooking, they enjoy a little bit of sangria together, and Granny tell her it's a shame that you don't know how to cook this stuff. She said you ought to be ashamed of yourself. Nicole don't look like one that's gonna cook a whole lot, but she cherishes her relationship with Oscarine. So um she always getting choked up and everything. I just feel like she probably spent a lot of hours at her grandmama house. I feel like she spent summers there. I don't know. We'll find out. Nicole lets her know she's looking to adopt because she wants another child. And one of the reasons why she wanted to adopt I keep moving this thing. One of the reasons why she wanted to adopt is because Granny is adopted and she wanted to hear her story. And she said she was adopted at 5 months old. Her birth mother didn't want to have a connection with her, but her parents who raised her, she said she couldn't have had better parents. And that's amazing to hear because you hear so many horror stories coming out of these adoption stories and everything, especially as of recently. They gave her as beautiful life as they could, with them not having much. Nicole is happy to hear that because she feels like she and Larry have the means to do that for do the same, give a child a beautiful life, um, because they have the means to do it. And so she hopes she gets she just hopes to have that experience. And I think Granny said she would have adopted as well, but she had already had 5 kids. So yeah, I feel the same way, Granny. I always said I wanted to be a foster parent, but we have 8. I don't think I can do it. I do a shout out for everybody else. And most of our children still live with us. And it's a lot of I'm not gonna say it's stressful. Uh there are challenges, but at this point and at my age, I don't know if I can take in any other. It would have to be an emergency situation. So, but before I had, when we had 2 or 3, we did consider becoming foster parents and things because I just feel like somebody needs to give those children a chance. Anyway, um, so they talk about the land situation again, and they just want to kind of go over there. And she was like, Nicole's thing is she doesn't want anybody to overstep her. Granny says she don't mind listening, but but don't worry, but she ain't nobody gonna pressure her. And the thing that Nicole gotta understand is everybody feel the same. I don't think anybody wants to do anything bad, but I do think that what ends up happening is everybody sees so many good things, but everybody gonna have to come to a consensus on that land. And ultimately, it's still her decision because it's her land. So it is what it is. So it's time for Justin's performance. And Jermeshia is ready, child, to be front and center. Look at her just happy and grinning. Let me be the backup. He was like, no, absolutely not. So she met her husband this way when he was performing. So of course, this got her all, feeling good and buttery. You be careful now. You just said y'all have 3 children. Mhm. So her sister comes in with her husband. She got her little leather suit on, and this is what made me mad right here. Everybody's going out and having a good time. Everybody got on, nice clothing and everything, and you got on this hoodie. Are you working? No? So take the hoodie off. If you're there to support your brother-in-law, don't be wearing no hoodie when everybody else is your wife got on leather. Match her energy. Y'all done made me mad. Anyway, the sister said they want to be background singers for her husband because they can carry a tune in a bucket. And he was like, still no, absolutely no. So they're sitting down talking a little bit about some stuff. And while they're talking, child Nicole come in with that chinchilla. Oh, she gonna be fabulous all day long. Turns out Nicole has closed 4 houses in 7 days. Nicole be doing it. I don't know how she do it. But she be doing it. So they talk about the long text they got from Lakeshia since Jaquita wasn't there because she was on vacation. And she was like, what is all this about? And so Nicole and Jermeshia get ready to tell her what happened. Nicole tell her about the conversation. But then they got this text. And Jaquita said, well, she probably got chewed out. And Nikki, before I show you Nikki walking, listen, this text was long. It's like, hello there, afternoon. Hello there, afternoon. I love y'all. And I understand y'all are as a family, how y'all are as a family, but I don't like that it's been a year and y'all talking amongst each other and not informing me of y'all feelings about my girlfriend. I know that time was very sensitive and I do understand everyone's opinion, but that's my girl. And I know how to handle my situations. All y'all had to do was ask and not assume. Yes, it looked one way, but I get it. Know I'm I know I'm as talkative about let's just say not as talkative about my personal stuff as much, but ask, I'll tell what I want you to know. I will bring it up again or will not to protect my baby, but she's a good one. I don't know. I think it's some problems between y'all, but okay, it's whatever. So she was like, so everybody was like, yeah, we got issues. You got Nikki walking in, like, what's up, y'all? What about this tick? So everybody's like pointing fingers, like, y'all the problem. Monet walk in, hey, and they talking about the situation. Everybody like, what's up with this text? And the thing with all of them is like, this is something they've held over her head for a year. Nicole felt like they should just go ahead and open it up, especially because um uh Karamell asked her, has your family had a problem with me in the past? And then she said, especially Nikki. And Nikki was like, girl, what? Girl, I don't even care like that. What are you talking about? And she said, because Nikki's energy is bad. And Nikki was like, well, hell, her energy bad. So they said this needs to be addressed. Everybody agrees that it needs to be addressed. And likely tonight, Nikki was like, I need a drink. Chris was like, maybe not before you talk to him. And then Keshia and Karamell's walk in. And so as they're walking in, the ladies talk a game plan about what they, want to do as far as they don't want to alienate their cousin and sister. But at the same time, they really want all these things to be addressed. Now, I don't know. I just think these shows are always like bad timing for certain things, right? Because that's just what they do. In the background, the husband trying to get ready and they talking about addressing stuff, so they ain't paying him no mind. They, everything's getting ready to go left real quick. And then as the episode ends, you see that the ladies have finally come in. Karamell and Keshia walked in, episode ends. So we're going to find out next week how bad it really is, because it's set to be continued. Here's the thing, y'all. When you have a family full of strong personalities, things like this are going to happen because everybody's going to want to be heard and everybody's going to want to be understood, and things like that happen. And it's just something that goes along with families, whether they're close or not. But close families are going to try to air those disagreements without damaging the relationship. And, because we know it's going to be flare ups and arguments and things happen. Things just happen. But I'm confident that these young folks will be able to make things work out, for them. But as always, thank you so much for tuning in and for watching me voice my opinion about this show. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. And I would be so honored if you would support my channel by liking, subscribing, and sharing. Oh, yes. Hit that notification bell so that you won't miss any of the times that I post these reviews, because I post them randomly. I'm going to just tell you, I post them as randomly as I can. I got a 2-year-old. I'm going to keep telling y'all that. I got a 2-year-old, and so I'm on her time. So I post them as quickly as I can. But thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting my channel. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.